motivate you to join this data science bandwagon. You know, whether you have you're fresh out of college, or you're starting your career, or you have a war that is starting your career, or you're making a change. You know, there is no better time than now for data science and related roles. So just a bit of introduction. You know, my name is Ekpe Okorafor. I'm that's the innovation director in a large technology consulting firm, and also an academic in computer data science in the university. So I do both. I've been in this space for about 20 years, 20 plus years, and I look forward to sharing what I've learned with you. It's such a privilege, you know, to be in this ever-growing world of data, you know, cloud, AI, and related emerging technologies. So I'm going to talk a little bit about data science, okay? Starting with why data science and analytics are sort of huge demand right now. I'll mention some of the opportunities that exist. I'll try to explain the difference or the different related roles that you may fit in, you know, or start with as you navigate your career around data and analytics. We will discuss some key prerequisites of what it takes to be a data scientist, what good looks like, for you to be job ready. Okay, I think the emphasis here is sort of job readiness and the path to success. You know, this path to success includes getting the right set of skills, information, knowledge, and then lastly, I've put together some sort of, you know, frequently asked questions, you know, just a few of them. And it's my hope that we'll have some time to, you know, for your questions, you know, so please have them ready. So now we all know that the global data science platforms market is worth, it's probably about $125 billion now by some recent estimates, and it's projected to grow more than 5 times in the next, you know, 7 to 8 years, right? But it's very important to understand the characteristics of who is studying data science now. Okay, this might, you know, sort of help us to predict the future, because it's an indicator of how the field is evolving. Okay, when it comes down to ethnicity, we see definitely an unbalancing, right? You know, the numbers for Blacks and Latinos are very, very small indeed. You know, and if you're looking at sort of the gender distribution, you also find that we have certainly more males. Okay, so bottom line is that this field is dominated by white males, and no big deal. But again, it's you know, it should be a, you know, sort of motivation for us, right? This has direct correlation with sort of the job pipeline and leadership and the policy makers in this space. So bottom line that we need more diversity and minority representation for sure. And I can tell you that there is huge emphasis on that, right? You know, in trying to get more diversity, more women in data science. Now, for me, it's a huge motivation. And I dare say that Africa is uniquely underrepresented massively. And so again, it's part of why I'm really motivated here to try and increase that pipeline, okay? Now, if the previous slide didn't motivate you enough, right? Data scientists, you know, rank like number 3 among the 50 best occupations in the US. These are according to Glassdoor's list of best jobs for 2022. Now, data science was only beat out by roles of enterprise architect and full stack engineer. You know. This year, the job had a satisfaction score of 4.5 out of 5, and a median base salary of 120,000. So you have people coming out of fresh from college and they're already making 120,000, right? And there were over 10,000 job openings according to the figures from Glassdoor. And so what we are seeing is that, this data-driven decision-making has led to huge profits for many of these large companies, that talk about Google, Amazon, Facebook, and so on, right? They are killing it, okay? And it's because of the advent of data and, of course, data science, data engineering, data analysts, and so on, okay? So here's a simple example of a job posting, okay? And I wanted to kind of point out some things, okay? Because my goal is sort of demystify this whole idea of data science being something you cannot attain, okay? Now, of course, so just some key points here is that you want to analyze large amounts of raw information. I think that's usually common, right? Being able to analyze, large, that's raw information to find out patterns so that they can make decisions. It's really the key. When you boil it down, is that, many of us are doing something similar. We can analyze data to make decisions. If you want to go to market and to figure out what to buy, you can analyze that information. Now, just scale that, okay? That's really what it is, okay? And so I just kind of put it here, and you can see some salary ranges here, like from 77,000 to 191,000. So again, there are many categories that's in between. It's full-time for this particular job posting, Python, SQL, and the good thing now is that many of these roles, can be remote. In fact, we are seeing that, okay, and it's really good because it enables you to be flexible in your own work life, okay? And so I think it's a huge benefit, right? So in addition, right, if you take a look at the technology curve, right, it's a good indication of where the market is and accompanying trends, right? We have passed the bubble, right? So we're now in sort of the post-AI bubble. So AI is here to stay. It's going to be around, okay? And it's a really great time to be in that space. When I say AI, it's also data, okay? Because, what really makes AI formidable is data, right? Okay. And there are so many opportunities and certainly much more to come. Now, for many of us, getting into data science may seem like a very, very daunting goal, sort of a scary notion. So let me attempt to kind of demystify it by providing some sort of guidance on activities, on the roles, on the different job designations that fall within this sort of data world, okay? Okay, so granted, the world of data is large, okay? Job descriptions can be vague, can be sometimes very confusing, or even downright seemingly unattainable, right? It's important, though, to understand something. What skill sets are needed to be successful? Very key. More importantly, you want to understand where you are, okay, and where you want to be, or what you need to get to where you want to be. For example, I have an academic background in computer science, math, and IT. To become an expert in machine learning, I had to brush up on my statistics and data analysis, okay? Now, after I got into technology consulting, I gained a ton of domain and business knowledge. So now I'm a data scientist, right? Now I have colleagues who have MBAs, okay? Many of them started with sort of very deep business knowledge. Then they gained data analysis skills, and now some of them are also leaders in AI strategy. Okay, so my point here is that there are many options and pathways and destinations. Okay, it's really to understand where you are, where you want to be, and what part you can play. Because most of us, we can analyze data. Okay, it's just now taking it to a place where you're formidable, you can create value, and you can bring insights, and there are many examples, right, to do that. Okay, so now you do see here that there are, what I've listed here is really like 4 typical roles that you kind of get associated with this whole data science terminology. You've got data analysts, you've got data engineer, you've got machine learning engineer, you've got data scientists. Of course, I'm not going to drain this slide, but really the goal is to provide you with enough information and a potential pathway to becoming a data scientist, any of these related roles. An obvious beginning or start, as a data, is probably a data analyst, okay? So on the job, you can learn as much as you can about big data and about data pipeline and cloud platforms, right? And so then you probably then call yourself a data engineer at that point. Now, while you're a data engineer, or as a data engineer, you can zero in on advanced analytics and start hanging out with folks who build models, or even take some data science courses on sort of machine learning data science. And soon enough, you will know just about enough to become dangerous. Boom, you're now a machine learning engineer. And of course, your final frontier maybe, or your destination may be sort of that pathway to becoming a data scientist, right? And so you see sort of the progression or the different destinations or the possible combinations, right, where you can fit in, because the market now is really hot, okay? And it's, for you, that it could be a sort of, that career change, or it could be for your work, or it could be for your employees, whatever it is, right? It's a very good opportunity to jump in, right? Okay. One big takeaway though, and I will emphasize this, is that it's good for you to get your hands dirty with some strong foundational technical skills. Now, this will usually set you apart, right? Again, to one key thing I'll tell folks, learn Python, and SQL. These 2 languages are really cool because, again, that's just about anybody can pick it up, right? Python is one of those really good scripting languages that is very close to English language in a sense, right? And so it's really good. The SQL has been around. Many of us already have those skills. So with those 2, you're formidable, okay? You don't have to be a guru, okay? You just have to be comfortable, okay? Not only to scale the interview, because again, to most cases, you should know some of those constructs, right? But actually, it's needed for you to be successful in the job. Okay? And I'll tell you why. You can analyze data that's using Excel or some spreadsheet and so on, but when you have massive amounts, then it becomes very inefficient to use Excel and so on, right? You have to do that programmatically. And that's why it's good to have that background, whether it's Python or R or SQL. And of course, basic math and statistics. In fact, somebody that asked me what level of math or statistics? High school, actually. High school math, right? And statistics. So, and to put it in context, right, 50% of what you're going to do as a data scientist will really be about just preparing the data. It's really about just data preparation, okay? And so that's a lot of data analysis, right? You want to get to the point where your data speaks to you, you become one with the data. And like I mentioned, it becomes more and more difficult to use things like Excel and simple spreadsheets or simple database constructs to manage sort of large data sets. Okay, so that's why it's would be advantageous for you to have that background. Now, you don't have to be a guru, but you need to appreciate, how to use that. Okay, so let's see what good looks like, right? What are the things you should look out for when getting yourself ready to dive into this world of data analytics and data science? Here's what I've uncovered, right? Based on my experience, right, there are 4 levels of preparedness or preparation, right? That some sort of, for you to get ready or to prepare yourself, right? Sort of 4 stages, right, of preparedness. Stage 1 is sort of foundational. Okay, you want to strive to build the right level of technical skills and exposure to data lifecycle, model lifecycle. So usually hands-on exercises, projects, for some of you, right, if you don't have the experience, then being able to build your portfolio through some training program helps. Okay, so you can then, so let's say during your interview, you have examples where you can give about how you were able to take data, okay, to analyze data and get to making decisions. So hands-on exercises, projects, definitely important. That stage is very important, very critical. Stage 2 is what I call fine-tuning. That's where you're beginning to sharpen your messaging with soft skills that showcases your expertise. For many people, it's about storytelling, how to answer questions during an interview, not like you're in class or in school, but using examples, right? Okay, very important. So I've been through a lot of that through many interviews, and successful people are those who can give you the answer, but they can relate it to a story, to an example, okay? And so being able to craft that, of course, you have to have the foundation, so it comes very easy, okay? So both the technical and the non-technical skills around that, very important. Now, because if I can understand your approach to tackling a problem, then you don't have to get the answer correct or in a project, because now I understand your approach, okay? Stage 3 is network, building that network, right? Your colleagues in the training class or your project or the teammates, you want to expand that cycle, leverage it and expand it. You want to know who to get to go to, where to get the answers you need. And so again, this is part of what you should look out for in any training program in data science, okay? And then the last one is sort of conditioning. It's that ready, set, go mindset. What do I need, okay? You need to build a kick-ass resume, okay? Don't exaggerate, okay, because that can be your downfall. Focus on that interview, and improve your chances by, of course, mock exams and so on. Sorry, mock sessions and so on. And, so when you enroll in sort of this data science course or program, keep these stages in mind. Okay, next slide. Okay, I'm going to show some relevant topics that you should cover as you prepare to go for a job interview or for that to be successful in this field. Okay. What I've done is to try and summarize it in such a way that it progresses, right? So the entire course is divided into 2 parts, right? Part 1 will focus on sort of data analytics and data engineering concepts. And the part 2 will focus on model development, deployment, and AI-driven decisioning. Why do I put it that way? Because depending on what you want to do, right, you build on it. You kind of see that we start from data analytics, we bring in some data engineering concepts because you have to have all those. Then we look at the ML engineering part of things, and then eventually, how do you take that and make decisions, whether through applications and so on, okay? And And the emphasis here is on, the focus is on job readiness and path to success. I want to continue to emphasize that, okay? It's not your typical academic style school type of, no, it is geared towards, one, getting you to definitely pass and get through the interview process, prepare you staunchly. And then, of course, what is the pathway to success, okay? Because it's not just enough to get your foot. No, you will also be empowered to bring other people. So we need you to be successful in that space, okay? And so we'll do less of lectures, okay? More of hands-on exercises, to build your portfolio. So that by the end of the period, you have 2, 3, 4, 5 examples you can always give as part of your portfolio, okay? Class discussions, projects, and interview style question checkpoints, okay? The goal is that by the end of it, your confidence level should be very high, okay? Now again, like I promised, I put together some frequently asked questions, just a few of them, okay? The list is by no means exhaustive. So here's one, okay? It says, do I need a university degree to learn data science, or can I learn online? Well, if you definitely have an opportunity to further your education, sure, okay, go for it. But if you're doing like a career change, right? Start with like some online courses, maybe some foundational ones, and then that should be sufficient for you to be employed as a data scientist. Okay. Another one is, how proficient should a data scientist be in coding? Well, like I mentioned, you do need to have some programming skills, right? Because you will need it, okay? So to land a job in data science, you should be familiar with the programming languages, okay? You don't have to be a guru in it, but you should be familiar with them. And most companies will hire you because you can do analysis using some sort of programmatic method, right? Whether it's, SQL, Python, R. And those are not very, very difficult, I promise. Where should I look for data science jobs? Well, if you can consider general job portals. There's been a lot of success with like LinkedIn, Indeed, Google. You can actually Google for jobs. There's Simply Hired and so on. And there are some niche ones, right? Like KD Nuggets, okay, data jobs and so on. And you could also look for like websites designed for searching for remote jobs, like Upwork, Remote, WeWork, and so on. Those are all very important. And then, of course, your network is very important, right? Your network, the people folks you come in contact with, people like us who are aware of some of those jobs, reach out and we can point you in the right direction. Okay. Do I need to, do you help with resume and interview prep? I think, yes, it's very important, right? Because I do see the need to give sort of one-on-one sometimes, even if it's sort of class setting. We'll give you the ability to polish up your resume, okay? So we'll give some examples, right? And then if you need that sort of simulated environment for interviews, by all means, yes, for sure. Because again, like I said, we've been through this process. We've interviewed, tens and hundreds of people. So we kind of know those typical questions and styles. Yeah, to definitely help with that. Do I need to commit a lot of time? Well, yeah, I think that, my understanding, and again, to my experience is if you have like 2 months, maybe at least 1 hour commitment a day, the more time you dedicate, for sure, and the more engaged you are, the better for you. I've seen cases where people have been really committed, and it paid off because they learned a really good job. So it's enough for you to really get prepared. Okay. One question is certification required? Well, there are typically for data science roles, I would say the skills and the experience are typically considered sort of higher priority. There are some really good vendor certifications, DataCamp, IBM, and so on.
Ekpe, let me make a comment here.
Yes.
I know there are a few people on the call that would sometimes think, we need to have a certification and all that. And, I think the way you responded, I'm glad. It's not like we coordinated. And that's always I chuckle when people waste a lot of energy on just paper, because for us, it's strictly about execution and project experience. And take it from people that are making hiring decisions, that are leading big engagements. At the end of the day, it's all about, think about all of us too. At the end of the day, it's all about what can you do for me? And not just what can you do for me, even what can you do for me recently, So it's all about execution at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I would take execution over any paper, any day. And I'm sure we all feel the same way, even on this call. So thank you, sir. Continue.
Definitely. That's very important. And I think that the goal really is what value can you bring. If I can get a glimpse of what you can bring, so your experience, your skill set. That's why some of these very helpful to be able to articulate or to be able to have that storytelling ability. So when you're being interviewed, right, the interviewer gets a sense of what value you're going to bring. Yes, you may have all the certifications and so on. Good. I'm not saying it's bad, it's good, but if you're not able to articulate what value you're going to bring, it's very important for you to be able to do that and to answer those questions in such a way that you get those value out, right? Now I'm very conscious of time, and I promise that hopefully we'll have a few minutes for questions. I do see one or two hands up.
Okay. Let me unmute. Segiwa, please go ahead and speak. And ladies and gentlemen, if you have questions.
Right. Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, so the question I want to ask is this. You began talking about data analysis, and then I think the last phase you said was data scientist. So I ask, is it linear? Do you begin as a data analyst and then end up being a data scientist, or could you take any of those four? Because the way you described it, it's as if this is a step higher than this is a step. Is it a step higher than the previous one, or are there four different types of specializations that you can get? So I think I have three questions to ask. That's the first one. And then the second one was something I learned now, which is very interesting. You see, sometimes perception is more important than reality. I have only just found out about the relationship between data analysis and, AI, building emotions and other things into, artificial intelligence, machine learning. I didn't see the relationship. Ordinarily, you would think that data analysis is just getting big data, manipulating it, getting information out of it and putting it there. But you talked about, machine learning, artificial intelligence, those deep things. And so if that is the case, how can you now, do this without a certification? This is not like GRC, which you could learn. This is like deep science stuff, building emotions into computers and, those types of AI things. So can one actually get anything out of this without having some kind of academic progression, like a degree or master's degree, or you could just do a course without certification and learn how to infuse emotions into machines? So I just need, if I can get clarification on those three. Thank you.
Right. So let me try and very succinct, very great question. So those are four pathways or destinations, right? And they're all related, right? So you could say to yourself, I want to be a data analyst, okay? What I say is that you can progress, and it's not necessarily like a vertical step progression. It doesn't say data scientist is that's the high level. It kind of shows they're interrelated. Based on what skill set you currently have, you can move. You know, for example, you can start from being a data scientist and you can become that, you can acquire the skills to become, sorry, you can start with, let's say, a data engineer, and you can acquire skills, more skills for you to become that's a machine learning engineer. One of the key things is that data science sits in that intersection, right? It seems to be an umbrella term. What scares many people is that when you say data science, they immediately think of artificial intelligence and all those movie things, right? But data science is really about the science of manipulating data, right? It's about using data to make decisions. That's really what it is, okay? Okay, if I can make decisions based on the data, you're doing data science, okay? So what you will find, you know, that's why I mentioned the fact that 50% of the work you're going to do as a data scientist is really just preparing your data. It's really just data analysis, right? So when you talk about causing motions in machines and so on, that's a field of, let's say, machine learning that you can do. It's a specialization. So there are people who specialize in that, right? But I'm talking about your typical data science roles, right? It's not you don't need to have a PhD for that. There are some of those roles you need to have a PhD, okay? Some, of course, you need to have, because it's now more topical. For example, if I'm doing something in, let's say, cancer research and so on, okay? I may have to have a PhD in that topic, right? Okay, but mainstream data science, you don't have to have PhD for that, okay? Some may say, okay, bachelor's. Why? So that you've gone through some of the math skills, statistics, and so on. So short answer is that no, it's not a vertical step progression, sort of pathways that you can get to being a data scientist. Does it?
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I think we have one more question. Let's take Dope, and we'll take one more question, then we'll jump into the next topic real quick. So we'll be respectful of time. Go ahead, Dope.
Okay, first off, I want to say good evening, everyone. Those of you that are in the US, good morning, good night, wherever you are connected to this webinar.
Yeah.
I want to celebrate you. I want to really, really celebrate you. I don't know you. I was introduced to you. I merely sent you a text. You acknowledged, and here I am. I'm very, very grateful for the opportunity. I'm grateful for the platform. And it's an observation, and also I want to make a good comment. The reason I'm saying this is because this is a country where Nigerians are recognized, in fact, celebrated for their brilliance, for their academic achievement. But they don't know that we are not collective, we are individual for the most part. And as you know, in this country, particularly in this space, you have lots of other groups, particularly Indians. They are very, 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 very united here, and they share information, and that is what you are doing. So please, I personally do not take it for granted, and you shouldn't take it for granted, because this is a very, very, very good cause you are championing. And I want to celebrate Ekpe Okorafor as well for identifying with you, for spending this time with all of us to give us this knowledge. This is what it should be about. So I am very grateful for the opportunity, and I'm going to sing you out loud to the world. So you will be getting more people from me. You know, I've given you already. And please let me know when to stop, because I'm going to load you with a lot of us that are here looking to learn and bind together so that we can have the Oh man, okay. We can have the critical mass that we need to make meaningful impact in the world, because individually we are great, collectively we are not. So thank you very much. That's all I want to say for now. Maybe in the future, perhaps maybe later in this course of webinar, I will have a question, but I just wanted to celebrate you, identify what you are doing, and to thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dope. And honestly, this is a community thing, and I genuinely mean it. A lot of people on this platform, amazing mentors. Ekpe, Val, Yemi, Salau, Otumba. There's so many. It's a community thing. The way I look at it is, this is just let's all keep impacting one person at a time. We're not of the illusion that it will come easy. It's a lot of work and discipline for all of us together collectively. But I can assure you, if we take one person at a time, look out for the interest of the person, and I genuinely believe this personally, we don't have to like each other or be friends, but because my interest in wanting you to succeed is selfish, your success rubs off on me. It creates a perception for me too, for my children. So it's important you're successful. Sometimes I'll force you. We get mad at each other to force you to be successful. And because in diaspora, this is a different ballgame. We got to work together. So I celebrate you too, sir, and everybody on this call, really, I genuinely believe it. Let's take Otumba Lumzi also. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you. I just want to piggyback on what Dove said, and really, this platform has opened door for a lot of us. And you've been a great mentor. I appreciate you. I don't joke with you when it comes to that. So thank you very much for what you're doing. And again, adding to some of the things that have been said here, because even the presentations Mr. Ekpe said initially was about participation and about how we, the minorities, are not much represented in the tech world. And so a couple of weeks ago, I was reading an article, and the article pointed out why and the steps to which the Indians used to achieve where they are today in technology. One thing that caught my attention was the fact that he said 20 years ago in this country, almost every Thursday, every Saturday, every Sunday evenings, when you see them gathering, they're having this type of training that we're doing today. That's this type of information sharing. That's what they were doing 20 years ago, 25 years ago, like in this country, when we were busy, going to nursing schools and doing some other stuff. And that's where they are today. So when I see us, especially with your leadership, leading us in mentoring people, in training new people, in introducing new people to technology, I know that there's hope. That we're going to sit down here today, Sunday, and we will be able to control the narratives in this country. And the narrative is going to change from the regular, we're just, Nigerians that, healthcare, we're full healthcare, but we will be able to take control of, in the tech world, basically. So that was why. So I don't take it for granted when I see this type of platform, sharing knowledge, and, mentoring people. And I try to encourage people, I try to tell some of my mentees, do this for 2 people, bring 2 people, just introduce 2 people. Imagine all of us on this call today, 77 of us. If each of us could have like two people introduce technology in 2023, that's a lot number. Those 2 people will bring in 2 people. Before you know it, we'll be controlling the narratives, and you'll be out there. Everybody, I've had the privilege of talking to some people that they believe so much in our mental ability. They say we're too smart. So I don't think anything will set our mind to doing. I have no doubt that we're going to achieve it. So thank you for bringing this platform up, and appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Otumba, and I owe you Margarita. Thank you, sir. Please, can we all give it up for Ekpe, please? Can we just show some love? Let's put some quick star. Let's put some celebration, everything we can do.
Thank you.
This is the first of the process. The class Ekpe will take will kick off next year. We'll get you more information. We promise to bring him in for a second information session to give us more context, and then we get into all the details. But he was gracious enough to say, okay, this year let's come up with something, educate the community. Then next year we kick off something. And thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Thank
we'll
you.
just finalize with one thing. I need a favor from all of us in the spirit of everything we talked about. First, I didn't believe I would start doing this, but that's the way it works now. So please, can we all like our Facebook page, please? YouTube page, please. You can tell I'm still trying to figure that stuff out. The YouTube is, I just posted it to the group right now. Please go ahead and just, join that group because it helps us a lot and it gives you information about the upcoming sessions and everything coming up. Just subscribe. Thank you. Somebody say we use the word subscribe. Yeah, subscribe. And let's keep the ball rolling. Now, somebody also pinged and said, hey, dude, what about the product owner thing? All right, for those of us that know what we do in the community also, and believe it, I'll be done in the next 5 minutes. This one is very straight to the point, but it's a fun topic. And I'll tell you the history of it, why I think it's important. Some years back, funny enough, Otumba that just spoke right now, he and I worked together in a company. I was a contractor in that company. I was a senior product manager there. It's an airline industry. You can figure it out if you live in Texas. So, and I was a product manager if you are using iOS today for mobile boarding pass, I probably built that solution for one of the airline industry. So it's a big deal. So let me share it real quick and show you what the whole thing about product is all about. I love products so much because I think we can change the world with product also. So what does it mean? What is product development in simple terms? Look at this. Is anything here familiar? If you're familiar with any of this icon, can you just type and tell me, yes or no? If you're familiar with any of this thing to see right now, let me know. Okay. Now, believe it or not, every one of these was built by product managers. So the product managers will have their product team, they would have Scrum team, they would have their Scrum Master, the equivalent of all of those cool stuff. But their focus is they are the ones that prioritize the requirements for your product, the solution you're building all the time. So what is the next thing? Why product owner? In simple terms, they help to focus on building the right solution. So if I'm a C-level executive, I'm a VP of marketing, there's a product, let's say Zoom, for example. Zoom started with maybe, video calls, then it elevated to multiple people can participate in the call. We have avatars, we can change background. Now we have webinars. Every one of those solutions are things that I'm telling you were built by product owners. So they are the ones that steer the project. They create vision documents for the project. They write what we call user stories. Technically, it's the requirements. Okay, don't worry about all those stuff. Then the next thing is, what will you learn in the platform? We typically try to keep the time. You're going to learn how to build vision documents. You'll learn all the agile ceremonies. A lot of people on this calls are Scrum Masters, Agile. But the truth about all of those, a lot of you that struggle with getting opportunities, it's simple. If there is a lot of people doing something, it's fair to say the demand would not be as much, right? So there are key things we need to focus on. When we talk about product development, we need to really own specific real life scenarios. You need to articulate the solution you build, your role, and the value it brought to your organization. Then we're going to learn how to use Jira. Jira is the tool we use to track projects and work on projects. You learn the use of Jira. You learn the use of Lucid Chart. Lucid Chart is used to map process flow. Don't overthink it. It's just to show you how flow charts of different processes work. You will learn another tool called Balsamiq. Balsamiq is the tool people use for mockup. Mockup is just saying an imitation of the real thing. So instead of spending a lot of money to build something, I can do a mockup to show people and say, hey, look at the mockup. I did that a lot for my sales team. So my VP of sales, VP of marketing, you need to use mockup. They understand visual. Then we get into release planning also. Don't care about all those terms. There are things you will learn when we do the program. And the goal for everything we do, there's only one goal for any of our program. As Ekpe said earlier on, we only have one goal that makes sense to us, really. Now, nothing is guaranteed. We are not of the illusion you do something tomorrow you get a job, that's rubbish. We're going to put the work, the discipline, the work ethic, the time. Anytime we do that, we know good things always show up. That's all we can control, all right? And demos of some jobs. Again, this will be done in the next 5 minutes. I'll just show you all some demos of some key roles out there. You know, again, don't get excited a lot on the money part. Let's leave that for a second. But just see what the role typically looks like, okay? So you can have an idea of it. So you see, this is what the roles will look like, product owner role. And the nice thing, which I always enjoy seeing in the lives of professionals, is when you look at those jobs after a training and you feel so cool that, wait a minute, I can actually do this task. To me, that gives me goosebumps, because that shows you've learned something. You can look at the job, the role, and say, you know what, I can apply to this role. Now, look at this product owner, storage, and blah, blah. So these are just the key things you're going to learn in that program itself. And finally, for those of us that have taken some of my cyber role, you will notice one thing we do. The strategy we use is simple. I don't care if you are old in experience in any field or you are new. All of us, when you're doing an interview, including myself, it's always smart to always think this model. I think it's effective: STAR model, situation, task, action, result, or sometimes make it simple: problem and resolution. There was a problem, how did you resolve the problem? As simple as that. And Ekpe kept drumming something that I love so much. He kept saying storytelling. We're going to build ourselves to be storytellers, because think about it. Historically, for every one of us growing up, we learned how to listen to stories. So the human capacity is really built to like and embrace stories. Take me on a journey with your story. So if you call me, most time I'll tell you, hey, what's your story? Meaning I want to know a little bit about you. So tell me your story. And this is where this comes in. For everyone that participates in the program, we have projects already designed for you. Scenarios for my folks that have done my GRC and cyber, you know what this means, but this is for the world of product. So you would have immediately 7 scenarios ready to go for your interviews. It's insane. So that's the summary. You know, and the nice thing, ladies and gentlemen, for our end of the year give back, we are doing a program 90% off, $100 only. It's insane not to do it, in my opinion. It's a no-brainer. Just register for it. It's a way to give back to our community, get a lot of our folks into it, and just enjoy the process. Learn a lot. You will learn so much. And, you know, just commit the time to it and have fun doing it. I'll take one question. Then let me post the link to make sure we can all just click on the link. The promo code is there. A lot of you ask me about the promo code. Just put the promo code when you're checking out, and it will give you that benefit immediately. Let me take one question. It's almost 2 minutes to the time. Somebody said share your contact. If you want to reach me, you can. Let me send my number. Just text me on WhatsApp. Text me on WhatsApp easily. And don't take it personal if I don't reply immediately. I will definitely get back to you at some point. Just text me on WhatsApp and I'll be happy to get back to you. Or you can send message to info@skillweed.com. My team will get the message and get it across. All right, somebody has a question. Let's take 1 or 2 questions. I'll be out of here. All right, let's see. Oh, okay. Go ahead, sir. Mr. John.
Thank you very much, Mr. Akibade. My question is very straightforward. For people like some of us are new in Scrum, I was wondering, do you advise us to start Scrum Master before getting to Product Manager?
Okay, I like it. Okay, good. Okay, look at the question is, in case you're not hearing, it said some of us are new to Scrum. Do you advise us to do Scrum Master or project or product manager or product owner? So the honest truth is both of them are great field. They are great skill set. But I'll tell you the honest truth. And a lot of you on this call, you've done Scrum exams. The certifications are easy to pass, really. So let's be honest. If something is so much easy to get to, then the demand will not be as much, right? Because anybody can do it. You're competing with a lot of people that are native born, right? So it's just easier to navigate that. I think personally, the more we know, the better for us. I think I was a Scrum Master too. So I functioned as a Scrum Master a couple of times. And let me tell you why I thought it was important, especially for my GRC folks. I shared that story before. I resumed a new role of leadership in my organization this year, and I started with crisis. The crisis was we were at the verge of losing a contract because of some issues we had, right? And one of the things that really helped me was agile ceremonies that I was used to. I was used to, implementing agile ceremonies, daily stand-ups. So immediately I implemented those ceremonies into a project that was not an agile project. But guess what? Gradually, 1 month, 2 months, the project, it came back to life. We finished all the projects, we got paid, everything changed. But I drew from the experience and strength of agile that I did, many years back then. So it came handy. So I guess the easy answer is because it's agile, every one of them ties together. You're still going to learn all the ceremonies that you will learn as a Scrum Master. To me, they are very interwoven, to be honest. There's a lot of similarities. Of course, the Scrum Master's role is more different. You're more involved with your Scrum team. You do a lot of burn down charts, stuff like that within the project. But in terms of the agile ceremonies, it's very similar. And the more you know, the better. Let's take Kemi and we're out of here. Go ahead, Kemi. John, hope that helps. If it's not, ping me one-on-one. Kemi, go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to ask, after the PO class, will you give the certification? Do we get the PO certification?
No, we don't do certification here. Our focus is strictly hands-on skill, knowledge to get the job. Now, you get a certificate from our platform, Skillweed, that shows you did a product owner certificate, yes, but we don't have an official certification like CSPO. No, we don't give. And we don't.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Kate, final one. I promise, final one, we're out. Kate is one of our mentors. Super Kate, go ahead.
Hi, Mr. Akinfenwa, and for those, I just want to say this, for those who want certification, I'm SPC. I can certify you if you want. After you take the class, Mr. Akinfenwa can refer you to me to take your product owner certification, but that's on the Scale Agile Network. So you're going to read, you have to study. So I just wanted to put that in there.
Thank you so much, Kate. I will definitely refer everyone that wants to get a certification to go to you. And you can post your information down on the group if you don't mind, Kate, real quick.
Sure, we'll do that. Thank you.
All right. Again, thank you, everybody. Thanks so much for your time. Mr. Ekpe, I appreciate you a lot. And Otumba, thank you so much. Don, thank you so much. Dove, and everybody, Kate, we really appreciate you guys. Let's go impact one person at a time. Happy Thanksgiving, Godspeed. Let's keep the community going. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks all. Thank you.
Bye.